first of all, the centerpieces on the tables are bricks from the old high school, some of them with labels, some without. Shirley King Villa was responsible for getting these bricks, and she borrowed them for the most part, so do not take the centerpieces with you. Each of the classmates should have received an 8x10 photo of the big class picture we just took. If you did not, there are a few left. So if anybody did not get one, raise your hand, or come on up here and I'll give them to you. We have one special guest, I guess you'd call him tonight. One teacher when we were there in high school, Bob Irwin. Still living in Rochelle. And I'm going to ask Bob to come up and just make a comment or two, or I guess on behalf of the faculty.
Thanks, Alan. Yeah, I love this class. I tell you,
You were on TV.
I'm in the way, huh? Was I?
Yeah.
Oh, in what? Basketball picture? Where was I?
I love the class.
Yeah, I do.
63, 63.
63, yeah. Yeah, I came to Rochelle in 1957. I was 30 years old. So I'm telling you my age. And I was privileged to work with some of your classmates in athletics. I coached all three sports at the time. I was the head track coach, and I was assistant in football and basketball. I eventually got out of those, football and basketball, at different times for different reasons, mostly because I had 4 kids growing up, and I was variously involved in other things too. So, but I stayed with track and field. That was my real love. And my 2 sons, probably not very many of you knew them. They were younger. They're both track nuts, also we call us, because they weren't good athletes. They were always on my track squad, but they never got a letter until they were seniors, because they'd been on it for 4 years, and I gave letters out that way. But they're still into it. The younger one is a track coach at Woodstock High School and a math teacher. And my 2 daughters are teachers. They're both retired now. Sue, the oldest one, retired a couple of years ago as an art teacher at Johnsburg High School. It's up in the McHenry area. And my younger son, Steve, is coaching and teaching at Woodstock High School. And the other daughter just retired this year from the North Boone School District, where she taught at Poplar Grove Elementary School. And the other one is in DeKalb, and he's an attorney. Anyway, as soon as I got here, everybody was just so great. I'd always wanted to be at a bigger school. I taught 5 years at a school in Clear Lake, Iowa, and it was kind of a small school. It was about a little bit more than the size of most of the schools back there. But when I came here, I thought Clear Lake was monstrous. And I really enjoyed it. But I told several people last night, and I'm glad to tell anybody that I talked to, that this class was the greatest class that ever went through this high school while I taught here. No doubt about it in my mind, and I imagine yours too. Because somebody asked why. Well, because of the the athletics, the people in athletics that I worked with, and the kids in classes. And we had great students back then, and I think we had a great faculty and a great administration, and it's kind of gone downhill at times. We still have a pretty good school here, but there's some reasons why it's not. And most of you probably saw the new school out there, and I didn't get to take part of that. I retired in 1989, and that's a long time ago. If you've heard about the teacher retirement fund in Illinois, it's about, well, all the public employees in retiring fund, it's about almost $100 billion in debt, because our government used the funds that were supposed to go to the retirement funds, and they used them for something else, because they figured, well, there'd always be people paying into those, but it hasn't worked that way. And they've been trying now for several months. Those of you that live in Illinois know to get that straightened out, they just haven't been able to do it. Anyway, I'm glad to be here, and I've been to several of your reunions before, and if I'm still alive when the next one comes around, give me a call. Thank you.
Recognizing our committee, which has done such a splendid job. I sort of tried to herd them around and preside a little bit at our meetings, all of which were at Shirley's house. But it has been an absolute delight and a lot of fun for us to put this together. So I don't think I'm going to miss anybody. If I do, I'll apologize in advance. But our committee members were Shirley King Villa, Connie Stanley Agnos, Connie Olson Harms, Donna Herman Waters, Ann Petch McIntyre, Pat Eckhart Birch, Sue Hayden Snyder, who is a long-distance one, Lyle Hedden, Corky Wetzel, Phil Strang, Jim Hovis, Larry Wing, Roger Allisdorf, and yours truly. Let's have a round of applause. Everybody needs a little exercise. I ask you now, we're going to recognize our deceased classmates. By my count, we have 19 deceased classmates, a couple of which have passed away in the not too distant past. I'm going to read their names, and we're going to have a little balloon ceremony. So we're going to ask anybody who wants to take one of these balloons in honor of one of their deceased classmates that maybe they were particularly friends with to raise your hand, and Shirley and Connie will hand you one. Simply go out with Shirley into the parking lot, let the balloons go, take off, and then come back in. Our deceased classmates are Judith Kazort Allison, Carol Hain Bauer, Judith Hawes Davis, Michael DeGrease, Ellen Tigan DeLordo,
Oh my gosh.
Jack Gittleson, Ron Halverson, Jim Helfrich, Terry Hoffman, Gary Hoffman, Dennis Kivico, Mary McBride, Chuck Sage, John Slothauer, David Snyder, Sandra Phillips Stump, Lowell Workman, Jerry Wren, and Carl Yoakum. Thank you all for doing that. I know that we also have several of our classmates who are struggling with very serious illness. And I know we have several other of our classmates who have spouses who are struggling with very serious illness. I think on behalf of our class, we want to say to those classmates and their spouses, Godspeed, good luck, and best wishes to you. Now, you all, some of you anyway, were brave enough to answer the survey questions. We have, I think, 66 people, the classmates in attendance, but somehow only had 47 responses, but that's all right. We'll take it as representative. The first question on our survey was, how many prescription pills do you take daily? The average answer was 3 plus, with a range from 0, 8 people took no pills, to a high of, we'll just say, more than 10. How often do you forget? Is the next question. 26% of the people said never, 26% said once a week, and 48% couldn't remember. The next question was, have you ever asked your doctor about a pill from a television ad? 17% said they had, and 83% said they had not. The next question asked whether you agreed with this, that the most urgent medical problem in today's world is erectile dysfunction or something else. 16% said erectile dysfunction. Of that 16%, a great majority were females. 84% chose something else. In the financial category, 67% of us said we are better off than we expected to be at this age. 11% said they were worse off, and 22% said they were the same. And the next question was, are you still supporting children, grandchildren, or great-grandchildren? 28% of us said yes. 72% said no. The next question was, do any of the freeloading little buggers still live with you? One person, representing 2%, said yes, and 98% said no. Then the questions got interesting. The next question asked this one. Sex for me is, 31% said a regular activity. 20% said an annual event like my birthday. And 49% said a sweet, distant memory. The next question was a true-false question, and the question was, I lied about that last answer. 50% said they lied, and 50% said they didn't lie. I don't know how the ones that said they didn't lie lined up with the ones that said they had sex as a regular activity. That would be an interesting thing to check into.
I think they lied again.
On politics. Whoops. Hello? Okay. In the political realm, 32% of us vote no matter what. 16% of us stay up late to watch the returns. 8% of us hope the Democrats win. 10% of us hope the Republicans win. And 34% of us are, thank God, the campaign is over. 14% of us are card-carrying members of the NRA. 3% of us are card-carrying members of the ACLU. And 83% of us are card-carrying members of ARP. 38% of us say our main source for political news and commentary is Fox News. 34% say CNN, 23% say public radio, and 5% say the Rochelle News Leader. And our only question in the technology category was another true-false. I am smarter than my cell phone. 29% said that's true, 71% said it's false. I was one of those. So that's our survey. Now we have a number of awards. And since everybody needs some exercise, I'm going to ask the people who win these awards, except for the first one, to come up and get their award. I thought it would be appropriate to start our awards by giving an award on behalf of all those spouses and significant others who got dragged to this reunion by their classmate spouses. There are a number of them who were candidates, but the one I wanted to give it the award to and decided would win it, this nice Union Pacific Rochelle stocking cap, is the longtime companion of our classmate Mike Stein, Francine. Gets the award because she is the longtime companion. The award for longest trip to get here, the people who actually came, was a tie between Connie Pasorski Jenkins and Cheryl Freestad Pearson, both of whom came from California. Wow. Come up here. Both of you. And they get nice little Union Pacific baseball caps. Take your pick.
Which one would you like?
The next award will actually not be awarded, but I have to give it anyway. It's not, the reason it's not awarded is because it's the award for the best excuse for not being here. The runner-up in this category was Jean Charn, whose excuse was that she had family coming to her summer home on Cape Cod and couldn't get away from Cape Cod to come here. Of course, the weather's not much nicer here than Cape Cod, but that was her kind of lame excuse for not being here, was summer home in Cape Cod and family coming. But she was only second. The best excuse has to be Carol Birkland, who's not here because for the 17th year she is spending the summer with her husband in Switzerland in a Swiss chalet looking out on the Alps. Nobody could top that one. So she wanted to be here but just couldn't quite tear herself away. The next award goes to the youngest looking classmates, both in the male and female category. The male category was easy, in my view. The female was a little tough. But the male one goes to Jerry Gibbs. Nice traveling coffee mug with the Rochelle logo. Jerry looked so young when he came up to me last night. I had to look and say, who are you? Because he looked much too young to be a member of our class. And while it was very difficult to choose amongst a great many females who were deserving of this award, the prize or the award for youngest looking female goes to Suki Carney. Now the awards get better. Another traveling mug, actually. This is the award for the best hair, and everybody in the class, male and female, was in the running for this. Some of us didn't have much of a chance to start with, and others of you did. But the winner in our class for the best hair of anybody in the class, at least of all those people who are here, is Ralph Pullen. Look at this, just look at this. This is disgusting. We always give awards for the best job that anybody has held during the time since they graduated from high school. And there were a lot of competitors for this. I will say you'll have a great time reading the booklet that you're getting as part of this. And you'll see what I mean by the fact that there's a lot of competitors for this prize. By the way, I meant to say this earlier, the booklets will be available after we're done at the table out in the hall, and they have your name on them. So pick up the one that has your name on them. The committee did a lot of work to put these books together, and they're really very nice. But to get back, the runner-up for the best job was Larry Sherwood. Larry couldn't be with us because he lives in France. But Larry has been, I think still is, a male model. Well, Larry gets the runner-up award. There's a picture of him in the booklet. But the winner in this award is Phil Rolfe, who for some 15 years, as I recall, lived on an island somewhere in the North Woods of Canada and was a fishing educator. I can't think of a better job. The next award is for the longest marriage to the same person. And I think after tonight we're going to just retire this award because the winner cheated, and she got married when we were juniors in high school. And it's Janet McElroy Holt, who has now been married to the same person for 51 years. Her award is a very nice glass mug with the Rochelle logo on it. I thought I was going to give an award for most marriages by one person, but there were too many people who had 3 marriages. However, I am going to give an award for the best courtship story. I think the person and people who are going to get this award, the person who's going to get this award knows who it is. The award's going to go to Judy Ish Olson, who met her future husband Spike Olson at Tahiti Petey's in Rochelle. And Spike pressured her to go out with him. She was very reluctant because of his bad reputation. But she went out with him, and 6 weeks later she married him. And she's still married to him. So Judy didn't do it. Now, those of you who were on the bus tour this morning, which I understand was really great, heard our tour guide say that I had told him that our class was filled with a bunch of movers and shakers, which is true. A lot of people who have been successful in very many fields, and very successful. So I wanted to make an award in one area, and that's the best entrepreneur. For those of you who don't speak French, the best businessman. And there's a tough competition in this category, let me tell you. I'm going to award 2 second place prizes. There's actually 3 second place prizes. One who's not here is Denny Garberg, who made quite a splash because Denny showed up he couldn't stay for the reunion tonight, but he was here last night, and he flew in from Kansas City in his own corporate jet, the Rochelle Airport, with his own pilot. Denny has a successful marketing services business. He's not here, so he doesn't get an award, but we still have to note that. The 2 runner-ups are Bill Neidlinger, who has built and then sold a successful retail golf business in, I think, Atlanta. And Bill, let's start with Bill. Okay. The other runner-up is Jim Hovis. Jim, as many of us know from the fact that we get mailings from him quite regularly, sells hearing aids and tries to get his classmates to invest in risky adventures. Those are the runners-up. Those guys in a way are easy. Our winner of the Best Businessman Award is somebody who really undertook a challenge and pulled it off spectacularly. Anybody who can run a successful business in Creston, Illinois for 40 years. There are a great many very interesting stories in the booklet that you'll all pick up. And as I say, I'm confident you will have fun reading them. But our award for the most unusual story, and I think the best story, goes to Jan Hughes. Jan, you all will remember, had a last name that was spelled H-U-G-H-E-S, Hughes, just like you'd expect. You will see in her booklet that Jan's last name is now spelled H-U-E-G-H-S. The S and or the E and
The E.
okay, switched.
Yeah, I got switched.
It's really, it looks funny now. It turned out that while Jan was living in Boulder, Colorado, there were some other Jan Hugheses in the town. One of them happened to work at the same company she worked at. That was bad enough because she got mail. The second one was a famous and very successful 10K runner. While Jan ran, she wasn't famous or that successful as a 10K runner, but she kept getting congratulated by people for her last 10K performance. But the straw that broke the camel's back was when Jan went into a doctor, pulled a file, and asked her how she was coming with her diabetes and getting over her dependence on recreational drugs. And at that time, Jan decided to go ahead and change the spelling of her name legally, right? So her name is now spelled funny. Jan gets the prize for the most unusual story. The next award was also a pretty tough competition, and this was the Best Name Dropper Award. There were a lot of names dropped in some of our biographical information, and to weed them out was pretty tough. Third place went to Karen Skinner Heinrich, who mentioned that she had worked in the administrations of Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and President Barack Obama. That got her third place.
Al, is she here?
No, she's not. My brother-in-law, Lynn Kettleson, gets second place because when he was working actively as a newspaper reporter, he mentioned that he had interviewed Jimmy Carter, Michael Dukakis, Alfred Hitchcock, and Albert DeSalvo, who you may recall was the Boston Strangler. But that was worth only second place. The winner, hands down, was one of our classmates who spent the afternoon lunching with Princess Grace of Monaco, the former Grace Kelly, the movie star, and then driving up to the top of a mountain with her. Believe that? Wow. Was Pete Jones, and he wins the award.
Well, it's not as glamorous as it sounds.
Well, then don't say anything.
Okay, yeah, let's leave it where it is. Okay. Do you want it?
No, go ahead.
I don't know how to. It was just simple business. We had. I was in the Navy, and we went into Monaco's harbor one day, and we had a submarine that also accompanied us there, and my captain happened to be the senior officer afloat, and he invited her to come down and have breakfast. And when she came, and she had one thing on her mind. She was trying to establish a new radio station in their area that was probably more American than it was whatever, basically French and whatever is over there. And so we had a brunch. I happened to end up when she came in, she said, I want to talk to your radio guy. Well, I was the communication officer, but I was not a radio guy. I was, at all. So, however, I said, okay, fine, I'll sit down here and snuggle down. And basically, it just went from there. I just wrote it out, and a lot of syrup came out of my mouth. And the brunch ended, and I'm a little amazed that the captain let me even do it. I didn't understand, because I got in a lot of trouble in those days. And at that moment, I was restricted in lieu of arrest. So this is all true. And I had a buddy that was like that too. So we both had a lot of problems. Anyway, we got through brunch, and the guy that was establishing the radio, and this was a big thing for her, but she was American, obviously, and she just wanted her people to hear what we had. So now I'm thinking, what should I say? Anyway, so we went on up. They wanted to go up and give me the tour of their new radio station. So thank goodness there was a guide, or a guide driving, and we got in one of those, I don't know what kind of goofy car that is, a French car that is really ugly in the first place, and then it's built to go up to elevate and go up the mountains and stuff like that, and we get in there, and all of a sudden the car starts going back like this, and you're laying down. It's like getting in a spaceship and getting ready for launch. So we go up the mountain, get up there, and to cut it short, they gave me a tour, and I just had again. Sir, I just said, oh man, I've never seen anything like this. This is the greatest thing. We don't even have that back in the United States, or whatever. Just kept doing it, and basically did that for the rest of the day, and kept my hands in my pocket. And she was a beautiful lady, and a nice person, and we had a lot of decent conversation, but mainly that's the way it was. And I got back down, and I took pictures of her, but I can't find them. I've got grandchildren, and they get in those boxes, and they just, I don't know where they are. I swear to God that happened, and it was a little crazy, but why not? That's all I have.
Our last award is one that I mentioned in one of my mailings. Our committee started out more than a year before today, and our first goal was to find everybody in the class and find out where they lived and what their telephone number was and what their email address was. And we did really well, but we had a few that were a struggle. We had a few we never did find. But one of the ones we could not seem to get a lead on was Jeff Schoen. So I put out an all-points bulletin, I guess you'd call it, in one of the mailings offering a prize for the person whose information led to the discovery of Jeff Schoen's whereabouts. Well, we found him. He was found. He is a lawyer in Houston, and I called his office after we found it, talked to his secretary at some length, told her why I was calling, said, would it be possible for you to give me Jeff's email address? And she said, he won't let me give that out. So I thought, well, he really is hiding out. But it turned out he was not, and less than a week ago, and I don't think the committee even knows this, I had a letter from Jeff Schoen by fax saying he was sorry he couldn't be here, He had gone to college in Rockford and understood it had gone downhill. He grew up in Holcomb and understand there wasn't much of that left.
Oh, come on.
And he would rather, and he would rather remember the great schools and great classmates and everything he had at that time. Lousy excuse, but he's not here. But we had some help. Phil Strang and Ralph Pullen were instrumental in that. But the one who really found him, and the one who gets the award, is Carol Donahue Hegberg. That's all the prizes I have. I'm out of prizes, and that is really all we have by way of the program.
Can I tell you one more thing?
Sure. Keep it short.
No, it's not really good. Right after that.
Wait a minute. Let me get the microphone over to you. I tell you what, I'll hold it.
It's just because again, okay, because it's back. It was very shortly thereafter that she died in a accident coming off the mountain. That somebody had gotten into her car, and I mean, I'm sure there were people that didn't want her over there, and whoever they were, they got to the front end of her car, and it was within 2 months. She had, something broke in her front end, and she drove off the mountain and was killed. So that was a sad story. But
Same mountain?
pardon me.
Same mountain?
I wasn't there then.
Well, that's the end of our program. I will say it has been great fun putting this on for our committee and for me. Please feel free to stay and mingle, talk to each other, keep in touch. And for our committee, we'll start planning the 60th about next month. Good night. Have a safe trip home.